the armor we never asked to wear. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Mahogany Love, a woman whose voice carries the weight of lived experience and the hope of transformation. Mahogany is not just surviving, she is rewriting the narrative for Black women everywhere, challenging us to see strength not as armor we must wear forever, but as a temporary shield we were forced to pick up. Her work is making the world a better place by giving Black women permission to finally put that shield down and rest in the softness they've always deserved. She is a living testament to resilience, vulnerability, and the radical courage it takes to choose softness in a world that has demanded nothing but strength. Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. What if the strength you've been praised for your entire life is actually the heaviest burden you've ever carried? What if every time someone called you strong, they were really saying, I see you struggling, and I'm going to let you keep struggling because I believe you can handle it? What if your toughness, your resilience, your ability to keep going no matter what wasn't a choice, but a survival strategy you developed because no one else showed up to protect you? Here's the truth we don't talk about enough. The world has convinced us that strong Black women want to be hard, that we enjoy being tough, that our strength is some kind of rejection of femininity or softness. But Mahogany Love told me something that shook me to my core. She said, I'm not mean because I want to be. I'm mean because the world has made it necessary for me to survive. Let that sink in. She's not aggressive by nature. She's aggressive by necessity. And so many of us are living that same reality. We've had to armor up because the world, and often the men around us, have fallen short of providing the protection, partnership, and masculine energy we need. Our toughness is not our identity, it's our defense mechanism. Mahogany shared with me that every single day she longs to rest in her softness, to be cared for, to let her guard down. But life circumstances, trauma, loss, violence, abandonment have forced her to be strong for herself, for her children, for her family. And here's what breaks my heart: she's 43 years old and single, not because she's not a good woman, not because she's not a gift from God, not because she doesn't know how to act, but because life has branded her to be this strong woman. And the world mistakes that branding for her true nature. This is the lie we've been sold. That strength in Black women is who we are instead of what we've had to become. Mahogany's main argument, and the one I want you to carry with you today, is this: strength in Black women is a response to unmet needs in unsafe environments, not an innate rejection of femininity or softness. Most of us crave the space to be vulnerable, gentle, and supported. But when masculinity is absent or unreliable, we have no choice but to step into that void. It's not that we want to be hard, it's that we've had to be. And that's a burden, not a badge of honor. Let me share three key lessons from my conversation with Mahogany Love that I believe will shift the way you see yourself and the Black women in your life. First, strength is not the absence of softness. For Black women, being strong is often about necessity, not preference. We need and we deserve the freedom to rest, to heal, and to be soft without fear or judgment. Mahogany has survived molestation, robbery, being shot at, and the suicide of her child's father. She's been through hell and back. And yet she still wants to be in her soft girl era. She still wants to be submissive, to be held, to be loved without having to lead every single time. But the way life has set her up, she's had to be strong. And that strength, while necessary, has cost her the very thing she's been longing for, the space to be soft. Think about that for a moment. How many Black women do you know who have had to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, not because they wanted to, but because they had no other choice? How many have had to be the protector, the provider, the problem solver, the peacekeeper, all while longing for someone to simply hold them and say, "You don't have to do this alone." This is the reality for so many of us. We are strong because we have to be, not because we want to be. And the world celebrates our strength without ever asking us what it costs. It costs us our softness, it costs us our vulnerability, it costs us our ability to trust that someone else will show up for us the way we've shown up for everyone else. Second, boundaries are an act of self love, not aggression. Saying no, demanding respect, or refusing to carry others' burdens is not being mean. It's an essential act of self preservation and healing. Mahogany is learning and teaching others that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's sacred. When you say no, you're not rejecting someone else, you're choosing yourself. And for Black women who have spent their entire lives putting everyone else first, that choice feels revolutionary. But here's the thing: we've been conditioned to believe that our value is tied to how much we can give, how much we can endure, how much we can sacrifice. We've been told that saying no makes us selfish, that setting boundaries makes us difficult, that prioritizing our own well being makes us less worthy of love and respect. And so we keep giving, keep enduring, keep sacrificing until there's nothing left of us. But what if I told you that the most radical thing you could do is to stop? What if I told you that saying no is not an act of rejection, but an act of self respect? That setting boundaries is not about pushing people away, but about protecting the space you need to heal, to grow, to become the woman you were always meant to be. This is what Mahogany is teaching us: that boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. Bridges that connect us to our true selves, to our peace, to our joy. And when we protect that space, we're not being mean, we're being wise, we're being intentional, we're being whole. Third, community and support are the antidotes to forced strength. When Black women are surrounded by people who honor their softness and provide real partnership, we can finally step out of survival mode and into a life that feels whole and joyful. This is where the magic happens. This is where healing begins. Let me give you some real world proof of what happens when we create environments where Black women can be soft. Consider the story of Natalie Madeira Caulfield, who founded Walker's Legacy, a national organization built to empower Black women entrepreneurs through mentorship, education, and community. Caulfield recognized that Black women professionals were facing a lack of representation, mentorship, and culturally relevant business education, often leading to isolation and burnout. So she created targeted programming, networking events, and educational resources designed specifically for Black women. She built a robust network to support and uplift one another. The result? Walker's legacy elevated the visibility and success of Black women in business, encouraging entrepreneurship from a place of possibility and support, not just survival. The organization has grown nationally, impacting thousands of women and shifting the narrative from superwoman to supported woman. This story proves that when Black women are given community support, they can step out of forced strength and into authentic power. Then there's the work being done through the Soft Girl Era podcast itself, which highlights the importance of rest, boundaries, and self advocacy for Black women professionals and entrepreneurs. Black women have historically been conditioned to put others first, leading to chronic exhaustion, burnout, and emotional armor. The podcast offers stories, research, and actionable steps for reclaiming softness, like setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, and practicing self love. Listeners report feeling empowered to drop the superwoman cape, embrace vulnerability, and build lives rooted in joy and well being. By normalizing rest and boundaries, the podcast challenges the outdated belief that Black women must always be strong, offering a new path to fulfillment. And let's talk about Jessica Swan, a visionary Black woman entrepreneur who advocates for closing the economic opportunity gap for Black women founders. Black women face systemic underinvestment, lack of access to capital, and are often forced to self fund their businesses. Swan led initiatives for leadership development, financial literacy, and policy advocacy centered on Black women's economic empowerment. Her work has unlocked new funding streams, increased visibility, and driven policy changes that benefit Black women entrepreneurs. She has helped shift billions in potential investment toward Black women founders, proving the economic value of supporting their dreams. Swan's advocacy is changing the narrative, demonstrating that when Black women are supported, entire communities thrive and the cycle of forced strength is broken. These stories are not outliers, they are proof of concept. They show us what's possible when we stop expecting Black women to carry the world alone and start creating systems, communities, and relationships that allow them to rest. So, what would happen if more people and organizations adopted this perspective? If more people recognized that Black women's strength is a response to unmet needs, not a rejection of femininity, the impact would be profound. We would see healthier families, more fulfilled women, stronger communities, and a new generation of Black leaders who rise from a place of wholeness, not exhaustion. The economy, organizations, and society as a whole would benefit from the unleashed potential of Black women, no longer forced to carry the world alone. Mahogany told me something that I want you to hear directly. She said, I want every listener, especially Black women, to give yourself permission to choose softness, to set boundaries, and to demand environments where you can be your whole self. If you're a leader, partner, or friend, be the person who makes it safe for a Black woman to rest. Don't just admire our strength, help us lay it down when we need to. That's the call to action today, not just for Black women, but for everyone who loves, works with, or leads Black women. Stop celebrating our strength as if it's all we are. Start creating the conditions where we don't have to be strong all the time. Start being the partner, the friend, the leader, the community that says, I see you, I've got you, you can rest now. Because here's the truth: softness is not weakness, softness is not surrender. Softness is the most radical act of self love a Black woman can choose in a world that has demanded her strength since birth. Mahogany Love is 43 years old, raising a son whose father committed suicide, and she's still choosing softness. She's still choosing healing. She's still choosing to believe that she deserves a life where she doesn't have to be hard to be safe, valued, or loved. And if she can choose that after everything she's been through, so can you. So I'm asking you today, what role, what mask, what responsibility are you no longer willing to carry? How has your definition of strength evolved? What does your soft girl era look and feel like right now? What past wound are you still tending to? And what's helping? How are you actively creating space for joy, rest, and boundaries? And how have you turned survival into something sacred or supportive for others? These are the questions that will guide you from survival to softness. These are the questions that will help you reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom you deserve. But let me leave you with this: this is not just about Black women choosing softness. This is about all of us choosing to create a world where softness is safe, where vulnerability is valued, where strength is not measured by how much you can endure, but by how much you can love, how much you can heal, how much you can give from a place of overflow, not depletion. This is about dismantling the systems, the beliefs, the expectations that have forced Black women to armor up in the first place. This is about building communities, relationships, and environments where Black women can finally exhale, where they can finally trust that they will be caught if they fall, where they can finally believe that they are worthy of care, of protection, of partnership, not because of what they can do, but because of who they are. So here's my challenge to you. If you are a Black woman listening to this, I want you to choose one thing today that honors your softness. One boundary you will set, one moment of rest you will claim, one act of self love you will no longer apologize for. And I want you to remember that choosing softness is not giving up, it's waking up, it's coming home to yourself. And if you are not a Black woman, but you love one, work with one, lead one, or simply exist in a world where Black women exist, I want you to ask yourself, what am I doing to create space for her softness? Am I celebrating her strength in a way that traps her in it? Am I expecting her to be strong because it's convenient for me? Am I willing to show up for her the way she's shown up for everyone else? Because the truth is, we all have a role to play in this. This is not just about individual healing. This is about collective transformation. This is about creating a world where Black women don't have to choose between being strong and being soft because they are finally free to be whole. And that world starts with you. It starts with the choice you make today to see Black women differently, to honor their softness, to protect their peace, to celebrate their wholeness, to be the person who says, you don't have to carry this alone anymore. This is the soft girl era. This is the sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. This is not a trend. This is a lifestyle rebellion, a deep exhale from the Superwoman script, a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. And it's time. It's time for Black women to rest. It's time for the world to catch them. It's time for all of us to stop celebrating survival and start creating space for thriving. So let's do this. Let's build a world where Black women can finally be soft, where they can finally be whole, where they can finally be free. Thank you.